Okay, so we're calling the project Adopt a Mooring Line. Why? Because Siargao Island, there's a lot of boats and pump boats here that we use for surfing, we use for fishing. It's not only in Siargao, it's happening all over Philippines actually. So, but somehow I feel like Philippines is quite behind when it comes to protecting the coral reef. And one of the problems that we have in the entire Philippines is that we are also the one contributing to breaking the corals. But it's not about blaming. It's because we just have no awareness about it. Even before I became a diver, I also didn't know about that. So that's why we're here in front of you to share awareness and to also let you know what are the good things that we've been doing as a surfers and as a community, and what are the solutions that we can do together to protect our own reef here in Siargao. So thank you to Ocean Tribe, Local Lab, Project Paradise, Lamari, and Sharp Fishing Tours. So here is a video of the Beauty Beneath. This is in Katangnan area 2025. So this is actually a spot in Rock Island, a famous, popular surf spot here in Siargao. And oftentimes, we are busy on the surface. We are so connected to the waves and to the ocean, but we don't know what is happening down there. So to show you, this is a video of Rock Island. This one is a huge coral reef. And some of these corals, they've been existing here in Siargao even before we came to life. Some of them has been existing for hundreds of years. Like a hard coral every year, depending on the type, if it's easy to break, usually it can grow from 1 centimeter to 5 centimeter per year. So when you are surfing in the surf spots here, when you look down and you see a massive coral, and for example, you see something like this size, that has been existing there for many years. So it is our responsibility to protect it. So yeah, that's the beauty beneath our surf spots. Okay. So yeah, what are corals? Corals are living animals, reef builders, biodiversity hubs. I'm sure you guys have pets. You have dogs, you have cats, pigs. Corals are also animals, but they're not able to walk, or they're not able to run, or they're not able to swim. But they can eat. They are also prone to getting sick, and they can also die when they are not able to survive their diseases. But at the same time, they are also homes for many fish. The fish that we eat, the fish that's providing money and income for Siargao Island. And at the same time, corals are also is part of the reason why our waves are shaped that way. So here you can see a video of what is the impact of a coral reef with the waves that we surf. So as the waves approach the shore, the cycle breaks, and the waves interact with the shape of the coastline. So for example, do you guys know what happened in Uluwatu in Bali? There's a surf spot there that's no longer existing because the coral reef, or there's a big development. So here, this is actually in Bumis, and you see how many boats are there, right? And you can see here, it's deep, and then suddenly it goes shallow. And then the shape of the wave is formed based on the topography underwater. So for example, this part gets destroyed, or it changes because of a lot of anchor damage, or there's huge development, then the shape of the wave will change. So imagine cloud 9, like if something happens there, we should be the one contributing to its protection, right? And before that even happens, that it gets destroyed, we have to act now. So one of the current problems that needs addressing at the moment here in Siargao Island is the anchor dropping. And anchor damage is instant disruption. In a second, in 2 seconds, 5 seconds, coral reef that's been existing for hundreds of years is destroyed. And we don't even know that, right? So how many times have we been using Anchor? And centuries of growth is lost in seconds. And what you don't see is still happening every day. So this is as well a video in Rock Island, and I encountered this almost every day, and it's kind of sad because this one is a huge coral reef, and this part was destroyed because of anchor that dropped there on top of the coral. As well as this one, this is also in Rock Island. So that's a huge boulder of hard coral. And this one as well. So these are like, imagine these coral reefs, their home. So imagine you as human, like you're in your home, you're in your house, and suddenly something drops on your house. And then the house that you built for many years suddenly just gets destroyed. And it's kind of sad for our friends who's living in the coral reef because they have no way to talk about their problem, and at the same time, like it's their home, it's where they get their food, it's where they get their it's where they build their family, and yet of course we're not seeing it. So that's why we're here to present the problem that is happening underwater, but we also want to talk about the good news as surfers. But before that, this is a sample of an anchor drop. Yeah, so the video speaks for itself that in 1 minute or less than a minute, an anchor can damage the entire coral reef. So the scale of the problem, we would like to focus in the area of Katangnan because that's also the area where we are seeing, and we want to have Katangnan area as the pilot model that we can protect the coral reef through mooring line, and later on this will evolve around not only in Katangnan area but in Siplas, in the entire island of Siargao. So here, we have Rock Island, we have Stimpies, Boomies, Jacking Horse, and then Cloud9. So those are areas that we want to be able to set up the mooring line. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Also has a lot of boats going in and out. I'm not sure about the underwater
Mm-hmm.
Pisangan.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi ko alam if there's life underwater. But
Yeah.
doon din, there's a lot of boats going in and out on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. Ay, yeah, sorry. Okay, sige. Yes, so actually, there's a lot of places in Siargao, including Pisangan. So that's why it's a community work. The initiative that we are doing right now is community work. And the more people that talk about this, the more that someone raises concern about protecting the coral reef and the damage that's been happening, the more that we can address it. So, Katangnan area, Pisangan, even Naked Island, those island, the island hopping tours, we want to be able to address all of the problem happening in the coral reef system. But first, of course, we need to have a pilot model wherein we can develop and then show that it is successful, and then later on, once we have all the documentation for it, then it's easy to copy it and and to spread it or adopt it to another place. But yes, please keep talking about awareness and also raise your concerns, because that way we can address. So the stakeholders, every one of you who's here, you are all stakeholders, and you will make an impact on this project and on protecting our coral reef. But that also includes fishermen, tour operators, surfers, resorts and restaurants, future generations, government. We're done blaming anyone. Like we should move on from saying like, oh, they're not doing anything, but the change or the solution has to start from you as a person. Like here in Siargao, we're all resident. We as residents here, the solution should be coming from us. And of course, the government, like all the stakeholders that I mentioned, everyone plays a different role on making this happen. So that's the vision that we have, and I hope that it expands. The role of surfers presence helps reduce illegal fishing like dynamite fishing. So this is one of the good news that I want to mention, because for example, in Rock Island, in my observation, there's no dynamite fishing happening there anymore because there's surfers. But in other part of Siargao, dynamite fishing still exists. And you know how destructive is dynamite fishing. So somehow, by nature, surfing became like a sustainable way of protecting the area without us even knowing that, oh, we're actually protecting the reef. And that has pushed the illegal fishermen to go somewhere else. So that's one of the good news. So we would like to introduce the concept that we have in protecting or addressing the urgent problem that we have, which is mooring line. In some areas, I think in Salvacion, they have an efficient system with their boat that they drop the surfers in the line up, and then the boat goes back to where the mooring is. So close distance, yeah. So that's the idea that we have and should be existing, for example, in Rock Island, Pasangan, and Stimpy's, because the corals there are so healthy and they have big potential and they deserve to be protected. So here we have Helix Anchor, and this is the Helix Anchor that we have done research together with the team, that this is an effective method. This has been applied in Batangas, Anilao, Batangas. This is built by divers, and in Anilao, Batangas, there's a lot of bigger boats there, and this one Helix Anchor is able to hold at least 2 to 3 boats, 2 to 3 surfers' boat. And this way, this is more efficient because we don't have to build, usually they tie the rope in a rock. But when it's tied in a rock or coral reef, it can still destroy the coral reef because there's other hard corals within the area. But with this one, we can just screw it in the sandy area, and then there's the chain and the mooring ball, and then the boat now can just tie their line in the mooring line, and that is also serve as safety for the boat and the surfers, because sometimes there's emergencies that there's injury in the boat, and it can happen when there's big swell that the boatman cannot remove the anchor because the boat doesn't have reverse, it's all forward, and sometimes the boatman, they may have to cut the line or they may have to free dive. But having the mooring line is providing safety for coral reef, but also provides safety for the surfers and for the boatmen. So having this project has a lot of win-win situation. So here, so this is how we're gonna do it. we're talking about depth of around 5 to let's say 10 meters, and that's why it's also one of the initiative of Ocean Tribe, because we're also divers. So we're going to install the line like that, at least with 3 divers. So we're gonna need, we have the equipment for it. We have the tanks, we have the boat. Sharpie and Tackle also committed to helping us with the boat. So this project, it's not like one-time thing. It's a long-term project, and we're looking into doing maintenance and reporting. Thank you for coming, guys, especially those of you who's surfing in Cloud9, because maintenance and reporting must be coming from surfers as well. Because one of the problems that we have is the mooring gets stolen. But if there's the presence of the surfers around the area, or it could be fishermen, and the LGU is also involved, and DNR, we've already got their endorsement on this project. But the more people involved, maybe there's less chance of the mooring line getting stolen, because it's quite expensive to have this. But yeah, the idea is that there will be maintenance and reporting, and that has to come from us, Ocean Tribe, to do the reporting. But the maintenance or the reporting by written report will be coming from us, but the verbal report should be coming from the community. Okay, so that way we are all involved. And as well as community education, locals are also the stakeholders here, so we want to spread awareness of how the mooring line can be used, and how we can expand the project so that we can bring it over to Pesangan and other part of Siargao. So also educate surfers and encourage others to support the project. And hopefully for the young ones, they can be the future and the future ocean warriors here in Siargao. So benefits of the protection is, if protected, so I mentioned earlier that the corals, they're home for a lot of fish. And for your information, we are in the coral triangle of the world. Imagine, of the world. Philippines is in the coral triangle of the world. So in Europe or in other cold countries, corals are not even existing. So we are privileged to be able to see and to interact or witness healthy coral reef here in Siargao. And if we protect the coral reef, that will provide a lot of fish for the fishermen. It's source of livelihood as well, because later on it can also be a snorkeling spot. You know, it's not only a surfer's destination. It can also become popular. There are places in Philippines like Bohol, Cebu. They rent a boat and then they go there to snorkel, to see turtles, to see fish. And that's one of the hopes for the coral reef here in Siargao. And so here, we just want to mention what is the cost and materials that's included with setting up the mooring line. Originally, we thought, it's so cheap, like we just need the line, but actually it's a lot of work. And we're also putting in a lot of effort on this project, so thank you for those that's been helping out. But yeah, we have the anchor itself, the helix anchor, and materials, like we have to bring it to the location, so transport is included as well. And we have the floater, the line, and the components, installation logistics. So it's not just like we go there and then we install the line. There's pre scouting before that. So these are all calculated, and it's calculated because we want this to become a long-term project. And yeah, mooring line maintenance is also part of the cost. Why? Because eventually we would like to hire local boatmen or possibly local fishermen to change their way of livelihood. So instead of like going out every day to fish and stay there for so long in the ocean at night, we can start to offer small livelihood that will make them connect to the coral reef in a way that they are not taking, but they are protecting or monitoring. Organizational capacity, documentation. For today, we are privileged to have documentation, and no one's paid here. Everyone is just all doing voluntary. But in the future, this is also something, if you want it to become sustainable and to become a long-term project, there has to be budget allocated for the people who's involved, because it's a lot of work. And then we have the buffer of 10%. We have the buffer of 10% because we have the first line already covered in Rock Island. Someone has sponsored for it. So we're so happy. But at the same time, we don't know, maybe it's still trial and error, that we might be missing some cost, and then as much as possible we would like to avoid that we pay from our pockets. So we're putting buffer of 10%. And so the total cost per line is this, 62,500. For Ocean Tribe, as a dive center, we're also contributing 25% of the total cost. So that is part of the diving, some of the logistics. And through this talk, hopefully we are able to raise funds and get the other line covered. So the implementation plan is, we are focused on these areas right now, but this can change. Okay, this is just our proposal at the moment. It's because we want to monitor and we want to protect the area that we are constantly seeing. If later on someone approaches me like, oh, we should do this in another area, and if you can commit that we set up there and then you will monitor it and you take the responsibility, then we are happy to move it somewhere else. But for now, this is the focus. The first line that is sponsored, they chose Rock Island, and we're really happy about it because we've been diving in the place and we're seeing a lot of beautiful corals and a lot of stingray, turtle, reef fishes that is important for the coral reef biodiversity. And as well as we are able to identify that this place here, it is actually a breeding ground for cuttlefishes. So cuttlefish comes and go, and they lay their egg in a certain coral area. And that coral, if it's destroyed, then the cuttlefish breeding ground that's been existing for us, we've seen it for almost 8 months now, but it's possibly existing there from a long time ago. So we're happy that they chose Rock Island because it's just worth protecting. And eventually, we also want to put in Skin Peace because there's also a lot of beautiful corals there, and at the same time, it will provide safety for surfers. And we would like to be able to do this project before the swell season comes. Now it's still flat, so we're taking advantage of the time that we can install the helix anchor while it's safe for us divers. So here we're in the phase 1, May-July awareness program, fundraising, acquiring materials, and the phase 2 will be the installation of the first line. I mentioned a while ago that we got the endorsement of PAMB and the ANR. So this is a project that is not just like, okay, we're doing this project, let's just do it like that. It is a project that has the proper endorsement and documentation. So thank you for being here as well, for supporting this project. And hopefully for the next few months, we'll be able to raise more funds and then install the lines as soon as possible. And after installation, we have the expansion of project to other areas in Siargao in C+. Yep, so we are the one initiating the project at the moment, but the team is growing. We have Lamari, we have the Jeremy, Hannah, Jace. Thank you so much, guys, for coming here, and Liz. And thank you for the support. So here, how you can help? The help is not only through monetary value. You can also help through your sweat and through your word of mouth. Okay. You can also help through your labor or labor contributor. Like for example, we have Eric here. He's been with us for a few months, and he's a commercial diver, and he's going to be one of the guys who will be drilling the Helix anchor. So thank you, Eric, for that. And we also have the donation of your choice. So help fund the installation of mooring line, as well as educational programs, community workshops, and outreach initiatives focused on marine conservation. So material donations are very much welcome. For example, we have one of the fishing tours here. They sponsored us one of the mooring lines. So the cost can go down, and then we can focus on other costs that can contribute to the next line. And then, of course, the Coral Guardian is sponsoring the entire line, and this serves as well as marketing. Like this serves also as brand marketing, because we're gonna have the mooring together with the other sponsors, but we can print your name in the mooring line, and that's like a sustainable kind of marketing. So if you would like to help in any ways that you can, please approach us later on. We can talk privately. So yeah, imagine the future. This is, by the way, this video is in Rock Island. So this is the amount of fish that is in one big coral reef. There's a lot there. These are all in Rock Island. So we have the Anemone City. I call this area Anemone City because the full corals, it's just full of anemones. And then we have here the Squirrel Fish City, because in that coral there's a bunch of these fishes. So it's like for you know how it is in land, we have different barangay, right? But underwater they also have different barangay, but it's different types of fishes. So yeah, my vision for Siargao is we as residents are the ones protecting our own reef, and we are also the ones who will benefit from this. So thank you for coming here. Thank you for your effort, and I hope you guys keep on talking about this project. And if you have